As we enter the third week of Advent, we remember the gift of joy that is freely given to us through Jesus Christ. The following meditation is from the book The High Calling, written by John Henry Jowett. Philippians 4:4. Rejoice in the Lord always. This counsel is given by an old man who is now the prisoner of imperial Rome. Age is not frequently associated with such sunny exuberance of spirit. Age is so prone to become reminiscent, and memory is a fertile breeding ground of dark and tearful regret. But here is an old man in whose vespers the minor note finds no place. Hard circumstances haven't made him hard. Apparent failure hasn't soured him into a cynic. He retains his fine, appreciative sense of life's essential sweetness. Rome may separate the apostle from his fellows, but she's powerless to separate him from his Lord. And the captive sends forth to his fellow believers the invigorating counsel, rejoice in the Lord always. Now, if this counsel proclaims an attainable ideal, it's very clear that Christian joy is a mood independent of our immediate circumstances. If it were dependent on our surroundings, then indeed it would be as uncertain as an unprotected candle burning in a gusty night. One moment the candle burns clear and steady. The next moment the blaze leaps into the very edge of the wick and affords little or no light. But Christian joy has no relationship to the transient setting of the life, and therefore it's not the victim of the passing day. At one time my conditions arrange themselves like a sunny day in June. A little later, they rearrange themselves like a gloomy day in November. The days are as changeable as the weather, and yet the Christian joy can be persistent. Where lies the secret of its gracious persistency? Here's the secret. Lo, I am with you all the days. In all the changing days. He changeth not, neither is weary. He's no fair weather companion, leaving me when the year grows cold and dark. He's with me all the days, the prosperous days, and the days of adversity. Days when the funeral bell is tolling, and days when the wedding peal is ringing. All the days, the day of life, the day of death. Here, I say, is the secret of perennial joy. The all-vital relationship is not between me and fickle circumstance, but between me and an unchanging friend. If I draw my water from the wells of circumstance, my resources are exposed to the peril of drought and convulsions. If I draw from the wells of salvation, the rich and bountiful supply shall be found springing up into eternal life. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be shaken in the heart of the seas, the Lord of hosts is with us. Now the Apostle Paul has become an expert in the practice of the presence of God. He had so exercised his spiritual senses that his discernment had become delicately sensitive and acute. He had attained a fine feeling for God. He felt his Lord everywhere, and therefore he could rejoice in the Lord always. To realize the Lord is to enter into the joy of the Lord, and the joy of the Lord becomes our strength. In all his thinkings, Paul's first thought was ever the Lord. All his purposes began in the Lord, and in the Lord they ended. He didn't call on the Lord just when things had gone amiss. To the apostle, the Lord was his Alpha. He consulted him at the beginning of things. He was also his Omega. In him everything found its culmination. And there is no law in life more sure than this, that if the mind be thus centered and fixed upon the Lord will be ever more and more clearly manifested, and the heart will be possessed by a quiet, sunny assurance which no circumstance can spoil, and which will remain bright and increasing even unto the end of the world. Lord, I would delight in Thee. I would not only follow Thee, but do so joyfully. May Thy statutes become my songs, and Thy will my ceaseless delight. Father, may my life be filled with praise. Make me more sensitive to Thy mercies. May the sound of holy joy ring through the rooms of my soul. May there be a new song in my mouth every day.